My name is Dr. Susan Shapiro, and I would like to welcome you to EDSN 640, Assessment of Individual Differences in General Education and Special Education Online. Why assessment? Why are we taking this class? Why is this important? A lot of you are going to be taking this class from all over education. Some of you may be in early childhood. Some of you may be in high school. Some of you may be in school counseling. But this is something that's required across the board. Why is that? Why is assessment so important? Well, assessment really is asking the questions, what do I want to know? Why do I want to know? And how can I best discover the information? And really, most importantly, what will I do with the information? So across the board, all of you are going to be getting information on children. And one of the big ways that we get information on children is through assessment. That doesn't mean that children are sitting down, taking tests day after day, although that does happen in a lot of classrooms. What it means is we need to find out about our students. We need to find out what they're learning, what they already know, what information they come in with, and what information they go out of with from each lesson. This is really going to inform your practice day to day, as well as across the board. This is going to be the information that you're going to take in with you to faculty meetings. This is going to be the information that you're going to take with you meeting with parents. This is the information that you're going to use to discuss with children their progress. And this is what you're going to use, hopefully, to start to learn how to plan to make sure that your students are getting the information that they need to get and really internalizing the information while they're with you each day. So how do we do this? Why is it important? Well, the first thing that we need to do is we need to know why. What do we want to know? Why do we want to know it? The other thing we want to know is what exactly are we looking for? So we can give a test on math. Well, that's not going to tell us much if we're teaching decimals or fractions. We really want to know exactly what it is we're looking for. So we need a clear target. These targets also have a lot to do with the standards. These are things that are going to be passed through the state. These are things that you're going to find in your curriculum pieces. These are going to be things that the district may tell you. We're also going to be looking at sound design. How are you designing the assessment so you can really find out the information? Are you just finding out that you're really not good at developing assessments? Or are you finding out that the children really don't know the information? We're going to be looking at effective communication. How do we let people know the results of what we find out? And how can we use these results to really help children succeed? And the last thing is student involvement. It's not just enough to give a student a test. We want them to know what we're looking for. We want them to feel that they have something to do with the information that is received. We don't want them to feel helpless. We don't want them to throw down their pencils and say, I don't know anything, and walk away from it. We want them to be part of this process and involved in it. So it's not a punitive process where they're being punished for not studying or not knowing information. This is something where they are part of the learning experience. So we have different ways of assessing. One is formative assessment. This is a way that we gather information day to day. It's not necessarily done in a test. This is something that we can look at from the lessons that we do. This is something that we can gather from just watching what children do in a classroom. Another way that we gather information is a summative assessment. So this is something that happens at the end of a unit. This is something where we take a look back and we say, did they learn it? How did it work out? And am I really doing a good job in teaching the children this? So we have a lot of different strategies that we're going to be using when we talk about assessment. We're going to provide children with a clear and understandable vision of the learning target. We're going to use language that children understand so they know what we're looking for. And we're going to keep presenting them with those learning targets. So we're not just going to have it in our notebook. We're going to let children know, we want you to be able, I will be able at the end of this unit to add two numbers together and get the right answer. We're going to use examples of strong and weak work. So they're not guessing how to please us. And this isn't about pleasing us. They're not guessing how we want this done. They already see examples of it. They see the best way to do it and a way that just is not meeting those targets. And they can look and they can evaluate them themselves. We're going to give them a lot of feedback. We're not just going to give them an A and B. We're going to tell them what they need to do in order to reach the goals that we've set for them. We're going to talk with them and try to figure out ways to help them learn. The whole idea of assessment is to help children learn, is to help them succeed. And we're going to make sure we're doing that in this class. We're also going to help children to be in charge of their own learning, to be able to look at something and say, did I learn this or do I need help? If I did this, could I go further with it? Can I go further with this information? So we're really going to help children gain ownership over what they're learning and how to assess whether or not they've learned it. We're going to design lessons that focus on one learning target and an aspect of quality at a time. We're going to teach students to focus on revision. We're going to engage in self-reflection and let them keep track and share their learning. So you can see everything that we're working on here is really about the fact that we want children to be stakeholders in their own education. We want them to feel that they are part of this process and that they own this process, because really, in the end, it's most important to the student that they do well. This is their future that they have in their hands. So this is sort of an overview of what we're going to be looking at in terms of this class.